They give your pastor a good hand. We are thrilled to be back here in the port of Crowley here at, we consider this almost our home here at Heritage of Faith. And I, of course, am Captain Rex. And I know most of you've seen me here live. You've been coming here to church. I know some of you have seen me on television. Some of you have seen me in the movies like The Green Lantern or True Grit. But there's probably some new people out there. So if you've never seen Captain Rex or a Captain Rex show, kind of just wave at me. That way I know. Wow. Well, welcome aboard. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself because you're probably wondering, what is a pirate doing on stage at Heritage of Faith on a Sunday morning? Well, let me say one thing. I'm not a pirate. You see, pirates are mean. Pirates are bad. Pirates always try to steal things. Yeah, I once was a pirate. I once was a mean, bad, short-tempered person, plundering what I thought was treasure. Till one day I found Jesus. I accepted him into my heart, and he made me a new person. And now I go all over the world to find the real treasure. Treasure that can change your life. Treasure that we've been able to introduce over 65,000 people in the salvation prayer in the last 3 years. We've had the opportunity to minister to over 325,000 people live in the last 3 years. And so I'm not a pirate. I am Captain Rex, the Christian sailor, but I cannot do any of this without help from my crew. So let me get my crew up here. All hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
Welcome to the stage, my crew. This, of course, here is my beautiful wife, my First Lady, LaDonna. And why don't you greet everyone?
It's good to be home in the Port of Crowley. We're so excited for this week. You don't want to miss it, so make sure you're here for every adventure.
Yeah, see, look, she's even gotten us matching. Look at that, see? And now we have, of course, my beautiful daughter. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell them what you do here on the ship.
I be Fishhook, and I am the ship's navigator. I navigate the ship to the different islands we go to.
That's right. She navigates and drives us all over the place. Of course, we have my son. Some of y'all remember him as Little Sharkbait, but he's not so little anymore. Introduce yourself and tell him what you do.
Ahoy there, I'm Sharkbait, the ship's fisherman.
That's right, he's our fisherman. And some of you may recognize this other young fellow up here. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell him what you do?
Whoop.
He's the ship's chef. His name is Talls. He's calling things that be not as though they were. So he cooks everything that shark bait here catches. And we have a new person that you probably have not seen before. This here, why don't you tell him your name and tell him what you do?
Ahoy, I'm Stormy, and I'm the ship's new physician.
That's right, she's our new physician. You're like, wait, she looks a little young to be a physician. Well, the Bible says laughter doeth good like a medicine. She keeps us laughing, so we stay healthy. So you got something for us this morning?
I do, Captain.
What do you got?
What does one traffic light say to the other?
What did one traffic light say to the other? I don't know. What did one traffic light say to the other?
Don't look at me, I'm changing.
Oh!
Oh. And Stormy actually is Maestro's younger sister. This here is Maestro, and show him what you do, Maestro. Some of y'all may remember last year, Maestro, he took a bass, and that wasn't an act, it was a true thing. He took a bass and he gave it away. He seeded it into someone's life, believing for this Kiesel, Ferrari, Porsche spaceship of guitars. And he was believing by the end of the year, by the last day of our tour, he was given a check to be able to special order. They special made this guitar just from him. It's a Kiesel order, and so he was able to see the harvest of the seed that he had given. And so I love it when God comes first. And finally, we have this here is Mako. He's full-time staff with Captain Rick's International. Why don't you greet the people and tell them what you do?
Ahoy there, I'm Mako. I am the ship's bosun. I make sure we are ready to set sail whenever we're going from different ports.
Okay, now do it this time with a little bit of enthusiasm.
No, Captain, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Well, why not? What's wrong, mate?
Well, you know how he's talking about me being in full-time ministry, right?
Right.
All right, okay. So, a few weeks before tour, probably like a month or so, I got a traffic ticket.
Okay, so...
Well, I went to go and check on a traffic ticket to get it all paid off, but then I realized that I needed to get my car checked out as well. Well, when I went to get my car checked out, they were telling me I needed new brakes. Okay, the brakes are expensive. They're like $400. Then I needed new tires, which would be another $400. Okay. Then I needed new power steering fluid pump, because that would be another $300. Now I'm at $1,000. Then I needed some new windshield wipers, which wasn't too expensive. But then I needed a new side view mirror, because that one broke off. And
Okay. I get all the stuff that you need. I know it adds up. But what are you going with here? Where are you going with this?
Well, I see everything that you're doing in life and how everything's smooth sailing and you always get everything that when you ask for and you're believing for. And I figured since I'm in full-time ministry now with Captain Rex International, it would be smooth sailing. I'd have new cars, have a new house, be super awesome.
Wait, whoa, stop. First off, you think everything's smooth sailing with me?
Aye.
No.
Like you just got a brand new truck and even First Lady got a brand new Jeep and then
Okay. You know, a lot of times people think this. They think, well, once I'm a Christian, everything's just going to be smooth sailing. Man, I go through storms too. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, I wrecked my brand new Denali truck.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, I did. I ran it right into the back of another truck. But here's the thing. I don't go looking and talking about that. I don't go dwelling on it. In fact, when I did that, you know what I said? This is the first wreck I've ever had in my life. I've been driving for 25 years, never been in a wreck. You know what I did? Wrecked my brand new Denali truck. And this is when I was about to go to Brazil. So I needed the money to take it to Brazil. But you know what I said? That's a first. I'm serious. That's what I did. You see, I don't look at the problems. I don't look at that. You think it's all just supposed to be smooth sailing? I mean, look what it says in the scripture. It says, John 16:33, in this world you will have trouble. See, we're all going to have trouble. King James Version says tribulation. New Living says trials and sorrows. So we're all going to have troubles. We're all going to have trials, tribulations, and sorrows. And, you know, I have problems. I know Pastor Justin probably has trials. But you don't see our trials because we don't go broadcasting it and we don't go dwelling on the trials. We dwell on Him, mate.
All right, but but we don't have any problems right now. I mean, like, we're in port, it's clear skies outside, it feels nice, there's no storms, there's nothing going wrong here.
Right, exactly. The key point is we're not having any problems or storms or troubles now because we're in port. You see, when you're in port, yeah, you're not going to have storms. You're not going to have problems. But when you're going to a destination, that's when the storms come.
That kind of makes sense, Captain.
Yeah, it makes sense. So some of you, if you're sitting out there and you're like, well, you know, I never have problems. I never have storms. You know, this isn't for me. Then maybe because you're not going anywhere. You see, Mako, you're now in ministry, you know, and when did these problems with your car start happening?
About 4 weeks ago, about a month ago, Captain.
About a month ago, and this is right before we're heading off to tour.
Right.
I just thought of something. When did you get your passport?
About a month ago.
About a month ago. And why did you get your passport?
Because we're supposed to be taking a ministry trip to Africa.
That's right. You see, we went to Africa last year, and this year we want to take Mako with us. And I said, you got to get your passport. You see, now that you are headed to a destination,
Aye.
fulfilling your destiny, where do you think we get the word destiny? From destination. Once you're headed somewhere, that's when those storms are going to come.
Makes sense, Captain.
You see, it makes sense. So you don't need to worry about it. If you're going through the storms, I mean, you're going somewhere, but don't look at the storms and Oh, hey. Maybe this will help us out. Look at there, what I see. Hey, Fisher.
Hi.
Hey, we got a bottle on the deck of the ship. See what it says.
Maybe it's a love letter?
A love letter. No. There is no dating till you're after 16.
Captain, I'm past 17.
I think you're in trouble now, Cap.
Oh, God.
Not till you're 40.
Okay, let's see what it says.
It says Psalms 92:12.
Oh, Psalms 92:12. Why, that's a treasure clue. And what do you use to help you find treasure?
Map.
A map. Very good. Stormy, bring me my map.
Hi, Captain.
You see, mates, this here is my map. The Bible's my map. It tells me where to go, tells me what path to take, what to watch out for. Now, what was that treasure clue?
Psalms 92:12.
Psalms. Here's the easy way to get Psalms. Take your Bible, fold it right in half, and bam, see? Look, you're right at Psalms. Okay, 92?
92.
Oh, that's a big one. 1, 2, 3, 4. What? We only have to go to 92. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I ran out of fingers. Okay, ready? 20, 30. Hey! You almost worried, weren't you? 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1 and 2. 92. All right, Psalms 92 and 12. Okay, here's a quick one. You can do it with me. Let's do it really fast. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
20.
This is interactive ministry. Unlike watching a television at home, I actually can see and hear you. Let's try it again. What comes after 10? And
Wow.
okay, Psalms 92, 12. And oh, here it is. It says, the righteous shall flourish like the palm. Psalms 92, 12. Why, Fishhook, this gives me the perfect island for us to go to. Why, I said, looking at my chart, let's set sail to Palm Island. All right, crew, make ready to sail. Pull the anchor as we set sail to Palm Island. Drop your fishing net over shark bait. I tell you what, why don't you help me out? Put your hands together. Here we go. There we are. Are you ready for a big adventure out of the deep blue sea? Treasures are waiting us to discover, so dive in and believe. God knows and He hears, strengthens me every day. He loves and sends me out on that discovery. Help me out here. And wherever I go, God is with me wherever I go. And wherever I go, God is with me wherever I go. Oh, mates, it looks like a little bit of storm's coming in. Hold on, here we are. Waves of life crash all around me. I won't sink or drown. I can swim against the currents, 'cause He won't let me down. God knows and He hears, strengthens me every day. He loves and sends me out across the land and sea. And wherever I go, God is with me wherever I go. And wherever I go, God is with me wherever I go. Wherever I go, God is with me wherever I go. Wherever I go, God is with me wherever I go. You can search high and low like a submarine. Say, God is with me. Ready? God is with me. Good. I will stand like a rock in the raging sea. Oh, 'cause God's with me. Yeah. Help me up, put your hands together. And wherever I go, God is with me wherever him a high five and say, God is with me as we set sail to Palm Island.
Oh, that sounds so great. That means we're gonna get an exotic car. It's gonna be super fast. Oh, might get a Lamborghini or a Mercedes. Or...
Whoa, what are you talking about now?
We're going to Palm Island, you know, it's exotic places like Jamaica and Hawaii. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get an exotic car.
Okay,
you know,
well, look, get off the car. Quit thinking about the car. You gotta quit thinking about the car and you think about him, but that's not the reason why we're going to Palm Island.
Well, then why are we going to Palm Island?
Well, here's the reason why. It was really interesting. Last year, at the end of the year, I think it was in August, Rockport. The city of Rockport was hit by a really bad hurricane. And I know some of you may have heard it, and you heard more about Houston, but Rockport was destroyed. It was absolutely devastating, and the news didn't show near as bad as it was. Friends of ours had a church there. I mean, the whole roof just completely gone. It was really bad. And their schools were shut down for over 2 months. So the kids were all displaced. And when they wanted to open up the schools, they asked the city of Rockport and the Rockport Independent School District wanted Captain Rex to come and do a blessing of the fleet, they called it. They wanted me to pray over all their schools. This is at the high school stadium, the big screens. I mean, the whole town came out. And it was a great honor. And I said, of course. And I said, of course, you know what I do, right? I'm not just an actor. I'm going to pray, like pray. And they're like, yes, we want it. And so I was like, okay, that's fantastic. So we came and Gary was with me when we was driving up, because we just came from, I think we just came from Jack Pigeon's church in Houston, and we were driving up from the north, driving south, and we came over the big bridge, and as we went in there, it was like a war zone. Big piles of trash, and there was the big oak trees. These big live oak trees were flattened. I mean, the mesquites flattened. All the trees and houses flattened. But Mako,
Right?
there was these palm trees that were just standing up. Just standing up. I'm like, look at that. You see, Mako, palm trees, when the winds come, that hurricane comes, those palm trees, they can lay almost completely vertical, horizontal. and they can lay completely horizontal, and the winds can hit it for hours upon hours and upon hours upon hours. But after that storm's done, that palm tree will stand right back up. But the storm a lot of times is not completely done. Some of you in your life, maybe you've been taking a pounding and a pounding and a pounding and a pounding with these winds and these storms and things going on in your life, and it finally lets up and you're like, oh, finally. But maybe you're just in the eye of the hurricane. You know me, I drove through the eye of a hurricane one time, coming back from North Carolina. Remember that? We was coming back from North Carolina at David Stowe's church. And I saw on the news, I was supposed to be going to Destin, Florida. And the news said, there's a hurricane. This is the one that hit after the Rockport one, about to hit Destin, Florida. And I'm like, okay, we need to divert our path. But I don't watch the news much. And I'm on the interstate. Remember, it was real windy. Then all of a sudden, it was like really clear. And we're on the interstate, and there's no cars on the interstate. At all. Well, I've never seen cars not on the interstate in the middle of the afternoon. This is odd. Oh, wait, there's a tree in the middle of the interstate. Oh, there's another tree. And we're dodging all the trees. And we look up, and we were in the middle of the eye of the hurricane. I drove through a hurricane.
All right, we did.
I was the only person with our Captain Rex trailer. The news was probably like, look at that guy. Anyways. And we look up, and you can see the storms all around us, and then but it was clear skies. But then we got to the backside, and if you know anything about hurricanes, the backside of the storm is a lot harder. It's a lot more ferocious. And it'll hit you again and hit you again, and that palm, it'll bend the other way, and it can bend, and it can bend, and it can bend, but it won't break. Our scripture said that for the righteous shall flourish like a palm.
Amen.
You know, why didn't he say a pine tree? We're going to be tall, taller than everything. We're an oak tree, and we're going to give shade to everybody. No, he knew you're going to have troubles. He knew you're going to have storms, and they're going to hit you, and you're going to hit you. But the righteous shall flourish like the palm. And get this. We now know that palm trees, that through that storm, it's not getting weakened like we may think. It's actually strengthening its root system. So that palm tree comes through that storm stronger than it was. The righteous shall flourish like the palm. Why, I believe these be our words to treasure.
Words to treasure!
Everyone say, ahoy, coconut.
It's so good to be where I belong.
All right, coconut. We have these words of treasure that I want us not to forget. So I need you to repeat after me.
After me?
Wait, what?
What?
No, I said repeat after me.
After me?
Wait, what?
What?
No, repeat after me.
After me?
Wait, what?
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 What? Oh, stop!
Collaborate and listen.
No. Repeat after me.
After me.
The righteous.
Your Highness, Lord the King.
Oh, thank you, but I'm not. Why'd you say that?
Because you said Your Highness.
No, I didn't say Your Highness. I did not say Your Highness. I said the righteous.
Oh, I think I have arthritis.
Well, quit declaring it and confessing it. Change your confession, but you don't have arthritis. I didn't say arthritis. I said righteous.
Oh, now I'm lifeless.
Wait, what are you doing now? Hey, what is she doing?
She's being lifeless.
Oh,
I think she said lifeless.
lifeless. I didn't say lifeless. I said righteous.
Righteous?
Yes,
Wait a
righteous.
minute, what is this righteous stuff?
Well, righteous, that means like right standing with God.
Well, what if I want to be left standing with God?
No, right standing, that means you do what's right with God. You walk the path of righteousness. You do what he says. You
Oh,
follow his commandments.
It doesn't mean I stand on the right?
Stand on the right, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so
Right
the
standing.
righteous
The righteous
shall flourish.
shall go to the circus. Boom, 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 boom. This is the greatest show. Yeah. Hey, they like that.
What are you doing?
Because coconut's the greatest show.
What are you
She's
doing?
going to the circus.
I'm going to the circus.
Yeah, you belong in a circus. But I didn't say circus, I said flourish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get girlish. Curtsy.
What are you doing now?
I'm being girlish. You said girlish.
No, I didn't say girlish, I said flourish.
Oh, you said wormish. Let's do the worm. Come on. Woohoo! Woohoo!
That's
you
not how
doing?
you do the worm. That's not. No. I got this, guys.
Yeah, now that's how you do the worm. Hey, no, get up, stop that. I didn't say wormish, I said flourish.
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 Like bloop bloop.
That's right, like bloop bloop. That means flourish. You
Okay,
grow.
I got it.
Okay? So the righteous shall flourish
The righteous shall flourish
like the palm.
and become.
What are you doing now?
I'm being calm.
Why?
Because you said we'll be calm.
No, I didn't say calm, I said palm. What are you doing now?
I'm being a Tom. You said Tom.
No, you're not some turkey. Be careful. You got Stuart out there. He likes to hunt turkeys. Hi, Uncle Stu. I didn't say Tom. You're not a turkey. You're a parrot. I said palm.
Oh, talk to the palm.
Well, at least you got the right word. Yes, palm, but not that kind of a palm. Palm, like a palm tree.
Oh, like a coconut tree. Yeah, palm tree.
Okay.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, so the righteous shall flourish
The righteous shall flourish
like the palm.
like the palm.
Very good. Now you do the whole thing.
Now you do the whole thing.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm. Now you do it.
Now you do it.
The righteous shall. Hey, wait a minute! You didn't do it.
You didn't do it.
No, I did it.
No, I did it.
No, I did it.
No, I did it.
Wait, are you copying me?
Are you copying me?
No, she copying me.
copying
No,
me.
you copying me. No, she copying me. No, you copying me. No, she's a copying me. Repeat after the audience.
After the audience.
Psalms. Very good.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm. Psalms 92:12.
Very good. Very good. The righteous shall flourish like the
That's
palm.
right.
Let these be our words of treasure. Well, thank thee, coconut the parrot.
Ah, you're welcome, Captain.
Everyone say bye, coconut.
Bye, coconut.
You see, the righteous shall flourish like the palm. When you're in right standing with God, when you follow after Him, you may bend, but you're not going to break. And like the palm, you're going to be stronger on the other side of the storm. So when those hurricanes and storms come, don't worry, you'll bend but not break and come out stronger, eh? Aye.
But that doesn't make any sense, though, Cal.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm sure storms are cool and all, but do we have to go through the storms? Like, can't we go around them?
Can we go around them? No, it's part of this world. We all are going to go through storms. That's why it says, in fact, all hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
I want you to look what it says in Matthew 5:45. It says, the rain falls on the just and the unjust. You see, it's going to fall on us all. It doesn't matter that if you're a Christian or not. We all go through difficulties that we don't understand. We're like, why do I have to go through this? We don't understand it. And being a person of faith does not exempt us from trouble, because it rains on the just and the unjust. We all have rain. We all are going to have storms that we go through. In fact, what's some storms that you have gone through, crew? Shark bait?
Probably that one spring break, Captain.
Yeah, that one spring break. What happened?
Well, I was sledding down the hill and then lost control and hit the tree.
That's right. That's right. Y'all heard that story about how he hit the tree, destroyed his liver, and and he almost died. That's a pretty bad storm. But he was falling after Christ. How about you, Stormy? What's a storm you've had to go through?
My grandfather died last year.
Your grandfather died, and why was that such a storm?
Because he lived with me for pretty much most of my life.
So y'all were very, very close.
Yes, sir.
You see, you could be following after God, but you're still going to lose people in your life, people that you love. You're still going to have physical things attack you. How about you, Fishhook?
Going back to public school, Captain.
Public school, and why was that such a storm?
Well, because they didn't count any of my homeschool credits, so I had to take a whole bunch of tests, and I have to make up a whole bunch of work, and I'm actually taking summer classes, too, to catch up. And I kind of got verbally bullied.
Verbally bullied.
Yeah.
And because she wants to be able just to walk across the stage, graduate her last senior year of public school, so she can go to a university and options. So she's doing all of her, she's back to like homeschool to catch up on her credits this summer. But see, and so many times you have to do new things, and I know you were bullied because of the blessing that's on us. People see blessing, they don't understand blessing, and oh, it must be nice. I told her, say, it is. It must be nice driving a new truck. Tell them it is. The blessing of the Lord comes without repentance. Amen? Anyways, but yes, that was a big storm, especially for a 17-year-old young girl. How about you, Mako?
Well, my dad going through a second divorce, Captain.
A divorce. And why was that such a storm?
Well, because we were so involved in the church, so many people in the church wanted me or my sister and my brother to choose sides and saying one person was right and the other person was wrong, or that this person was wrong and this person was right. And it tried tearing apart our family.
You know, see, divorces happen. It don't matter if you're in the church or out of the church. Divorces happen. Bullying happens. You know, losing people in your life happens. Physical things happen. It rains on the just and the unjust. How about you, Talls?
The STAR test.
The STAR test. See, it don't matter if you're a Christian or not. You got to take the STAR test. And why is that a storm?
Because it's hard.
It's hard. And if you don't pass it, what happens?
You don't go to the next grade.
And you don't go to the next grade. Yeah, see? It don't matter if you're a Christian or not. You got to take it. How about you, First Lady LaDonna? What's a storm you had to go through?
There's a hole in my boat, dear Captain, dear Captain. There's a hole in my boat, dear Captain, a hole. Yeah.
Look, we're all being serious here, and you're over there singing, "There's a hole in my boat."
It's serious. I got a hole in my boat. Not anymore, but I did have a hole
That's
in
right.
my boat.
Our big boat in Brazil on the Amazon River had a hole in it. It was so bad that the bilge pump was going off every 3 minutes. And it would pump all the water out, and within 3 minutes, that whole 60-foot boat would fill back up with water, and the bilge would have to, it blew up the bilges and everything else. See, it doesn't matter. But if you're righteous, when that storm comes, what happened?
Well, we had a bid for it to cost right at $15,000, but we had $5,000 come in. We kept saying whatever comes in is what it's going to cost to get it fixed. Well, Captain Rex actually went for me to Brazil, and he was in the water working on the boat, and he came out of the water, and that just wasn't work. The stuff that is in America is not Amazon approved. And so he was trying really hard to get that boat fixed himself. Well, he insisted on talking with the people there. They said, no, it's going to cost more because you're not native to here. And so he kept on. He's like, no, you don't understand my God. And so he got to talk to the people, and sure enough, it came in for $4,285. So.
There's no way, they said. You can't do it, they said. It cost $15,000 US, they said.
But my
God.
Yes. Amen.
If you weren't here last year, go back and get last year's video and watch that one. How has being righteous have helped you?
Well, praying every day, but faith without works is dead, so you gotta study.
So you gotta study!
Yeah!
Because faith without works is dead. How has being righteous and being with God helped you through this storm, Mako?
Well, the thing about it was me, my sister, brother, and my dad, and my stepmom, we knew the whole story. So we knew that no matter what other people said, we knew what was right. And me and my siblings were able to stay close and still love our papa and love my stepmom and know that everything was going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. And it is a lot better now, isn't it?
Aye.
It's a whole lot better now. How about you, Fishhook?
Well, the favor of God is upon me from my family and the blessing, and also doing Captain Rex has taught me to build relationships with people. So I built relationships with my teachers and my counselors, and I found favor, and I was able to graduate my junior year with all A's and pass all my classes.
They said, you can't graduate next year. I said, don't listen to them. And she went in and talked, and they pulled strings, and she's able to do this summer stuff to get her caught up, and so she'll be able to graduate next year. Stormy, how about you?
Well, my grandfather was serving God when he died, so I know he's in a better place, so I have peace with it.
Amen.
I don't even have to say anything on that one. How about you, Shark Bait?
I recovered quickly.
You recovered quickly. Well, it was supposed to be 4-month recovery time for his liver to regenerate itself. Turned into a 4-week recovery time. And remember, I kept telling you, don't listen to the doctors because you are healed. He said, I am healed. They say, your liver's destroyed. He said, get out of my my hospital room. No, it's not. But because he was righteous. You see, the righteous shall flourish like the palm. In fact, it brings us to our Bible story of the day. And our Bible story of the day is found in Matthew 7, verses 24 through 27. Ooh, crew, why don't y'all try to act this one out? This one's going to be kind of interesting to act out. Let's see. It says, anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise. Is that the wise? Okay. Like a person who builds a house on solid rock. All right. Though the rains come in torrents, rains. Now you're Lutheran. I'm sorry. I'm in. And the flood waters rise, and the winds beat against the house. We're acting here, Bishop. It won't collapse because it is built on the rock. In verse 26, it says, but anyone who hears my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish. That's your foolish? Okay. Like a person who builds a house on the sand. Oh, you got a two-person house. Okay. When the rains and the floods come and the winds beat against the house, it'll collapse with a mighty crash. You know, in fact, there's a song, maybe some of you kids can help me. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock. And the rains came tumbling down. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. And the house on the rock stood firm. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. And the rains came tumbling down. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. And the house on the sand went splat, splat. You see, we got to build our house on the rock. You got to make your preparations. You see, the storm came to both the just and the unjust. But when you build your house on the rock, when you make preparations, you have a promise. You will still be standing. So stand in faith, even if you don't see it. Even if you don't see it, stand. You might bend, but you're not going to break. Because the righteous shall flourish like the palm. Aye? Aye. Aye. Oh, speaking of storms, crew, it looks like there's a storm blowing in. Make ready for the storm.
No, bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down.
Wait, stop. Hey, please get off of Facebook. Get off of Facebook. Stop. Crew, stop. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're not going to die. Don't go posting the storm that we're going to go through. We can make it through this storm. We just got to make preparations. So batten down the hatches. Make ready the sails. Pull in the anchor. Pull in the nets. We can make it through this. You know why? Strong winds make skilled sailors. You know, we got a destination we got to go through. I know we... Whoa! Hold on, crew! Shark bait, come help me with this one! You go some muscles! Oh! Oh, it's a big storm! We're almost through! Woo-hoo! This is awesome! Yes! Here we are! Hold over right there! We made it.
That was awesome. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Six Flags ain't got nothing on us.
You know,
Do it again.
you see, mate, strong winds make skilled sailors. When you're at port and you don't go through any winds, you're not growing. You're not becoming stronger. But you got to change your perspective. You guys almost defeated yourself before you even got to the storm. You were all, we're going down on the book of faith. We're not going to make it. Instagram and everything else. And your birdie one, whatever that one is, the Twitter.
Tweeter. Tweet, tweet.
Yeah. We try to broadcast it, and we're going down. You see the storm coming, and you defeat yourself before you even get to it. You got to change your perspective. Oh, no. This is awesome. I'm going to make it through this because I'm going to come out stronger. Yeah, we had to make our preparations, had to batten down the hatches, lower in the mainsail a bit, adjust it. But you just got to change your perspective. You see, Paul, he knew he had a destination, a destiny, that he was going to Rome. He had an appointment with Caesar. And the storm came and it shipwrecked him. Remember what he said? In my own words, basically, we may get wet, but we're not going to drown. I know I have a destination with Caesar. I know this ship can make it through that storm because I've read the manual. It won't flip over. I've read the manual. God has a plan for you. It's a good plan, a plan to give you a hope and a future. So when you know you have a destination, you may get wet, but you're not going to drown. You may bend, but you're not going to break, because the righteous shall flourish like the palm. Well, you know, that reminds me about getting stronger. Strong winds make skilled sailors. Our first, y'all remember this? Our first vehicle was this gypsy wagon. I call it a gypsy wagon. It was a van that I spray painted. And that's what we started out in 5 years ago. And we took off on our very first tour, and we blew the engine in the hills of Arkansas on our very first tour. I sunk every penny I had in this vehicle. I felt like it was over. This is it. We're done before we get started. But we didn't give up. Having done all there is to do, stand. It was hard. It was really hard, Pastor Justin. It was almost devastating how to figure it out. Well, then we got our 1973 tour bus. And some of y'all heard the stories about that and how it dropped the clutch and all that. And we didn't give up. It was difficult. Almost gave up. But we laid hands on it and we made it through it. It was hard, but not as hard. Then you heard the story last year of how I got that nice new Freightliner tour bus, the big 50-some footer rig. And last year, when we left here, because remember we was headed to California? When we left here, headed to California, we dropped the axle. And when I say drop the axle, I literally mean the axle fell out the bottom of the truck. And First Lady Donna was following in the chase vehicle, and she called. She's like, "You're losing pieces of the rig." I was like, "I know." She's like, "Why aren't you stopping?" I said, "Because we lost our brakes too." "Oh, sorry, okay." When the axle fell out, it took out the airbags, the shocks, the brakes. I mean, it just tore everything out of the rig heading to California. Y'all remember what I did, crew?
Laughed.
I laughed. No big deal. It's like, y'all want to play cards or something? No big deal. You see, strong winds make skilled sailors. I've been through this storm before. I was stronger, and by the time it hit me this time, it was no big deal. It's going to be how much? Who cares? I didn't even talk about money. That's what some of them said. You never said a word about how much it's going to cost us. How are we going to do? What are we going to do? You just like, I had a destination. I knew I was going to California. And I did. And God was giving the victory. And in fact, I only talked or called 3 people. Remember, I sent you and Pastor Rick a text just to let you guys know, because you said keep me informed. I didn't post it. I told none of the crew, I said, you do not post anything on the Book of Faith. I mean, our rig is on the blocks, on the tow truck and everything. I said, you don't post anything. I will not give credit to the enemy trying to take me out. I said, you wait, because when God has given us the victory, then I'll let you post. Yeah. And yes, we had to wait 3 weeks to post, but in 3 weeks we were able to post that the rig was fixed and insurance covered every penny of it. $15,000. Because my God, the righteous shall flourish like the palm. Aye? Aye.
Captain, whenever I pulled in the net for the storm, there was a bass in it. See
What's that?
A bass. It's called a wood bass. Look at that.
Wait, what?
A wood bass.
A what?
A wood bass. WOODBASS. Bass. Wood bass.
Let me see that. This is
Hey! Whoa!
not a wood bass, that's a paddle. It's like an oar, you know?
This reminds me of something, Captain. You remember that one time you took me sailing?
Okay, the one time are you talking about spring break when I took you sailing
yes.
on Belton Lake for the very first time?
I got another crazy story for spring break.
Yes.
Okay, so there's the paddle on the side of the sailboat. And we're like, oh yeah, if we break down, the paddle's totally gonna help us on this big sailboat. What are we gonna do, take it and paddle?
Yeah, with like a 26-foot sailboat on Belton
then,
Lake.
like,
yeah, we were laughing at the paddle. I remember
like,
that, yeah.
30 minutes later, we broke down, and the first thing you said was grab the paddle. And I was paddling, so I got
Yeah, I remember that. I had already brought in all the sails, and then the engine ran out of gas while coming into the port, yes, so we didn't have any power to go anywhere.
So I started paddling, and then you couldn't figure it out, and there was the big rock cliffs, and you started freaking out, and you started hesitating. You was like, I don't know what to do, Call Papa,
No, I didn't.
Call Papa. And so you took my phone, and you tried to call him, and you were so shaking you couldn't even call him. He was like, Papa, come save me. You gotta get on the boat and come save me.
No, I didn't.
And if you don't save me, we're gonna go down. We're gonna sink. You're gonna sink. You gotta come save us. And I was still there paddling, and I'm getting worn out, and I'm paddling. You gotta save us. If you don't, we're gonna go down. You remember that?
I'm not sure it was quite like that, was it?
It was, okay, so maybe not that bad, but he's like, you gotta come save us. And then he was like, if you don't save us, we're gonna sink. And then you took it and you threw my phone. I thought you broke my phone. And I'm still there paddling.
I do remember saying, call 911.
Yeah.
I threw the phone. It's actually a true story. But the reason why I panicked... the reason why I panicked was because that rock cliff, the wind was blowing us right to this rock cliff, and I knew that rock cliff has sunk more boats on Belton Lake than any other thing. More bunks has sunk there on that one rock cliff because the wind catches you and blows you right in there, and I did panic. And what he said is actually true. And it happens to many of us in our lives too. You see that rock cliff, you know that rock cliff has sunk so many people. You know that cancer has killed people. You know that you fill in the blank and you panic. You see yourself defeated before you ever get to it. And then you act and do things you don't mean or think straight. You say things you don't mean. And I did. I was very rude to my father on the phone because I thought it was going to sink and I was panicking. And I had to call and apologize and to make it right. It was my fault. I shouldn't have done that. But what did I do after that?
You calmed down.
I calmed down.
Finally.
And
then you fixed it.
I did fix it.
And we didn't sink.
I stopped myself after I'd panicked. I said, no, wait, no. I've been boating my whole life. I can get us through this. I took a deep breath. They that wait upon the Lord, spend some time in His presence, He will renew their strength. I figured it out. It was vapor locked. It hadn't run out of gas because we had been sailing sideways and it vapor locked, whatever. And I fixed it, and I was the hero and saved the day.
Oh, no. You did something heroic. I was the real hero paddling.
And believe it or not, he actually kept that 26-foot sailboat still long enough for me to figure it out before we hit those rock cliffs and sank.
I got a question. Is there a veterinarian in the house? Because these pythons are sick.
Those of you that knew him 2 years ago, he was real little. He was always the runt of the litter. And he was in that bad accident where that destroyed his liver. And God touched him. God's hand touched him and restored his liver in 4 weeks. And not only did his liver grow, his whole body shot up and grew. And a lot of y'all have heard that story about when I got the call and I hit my knees, and I'm in Texas, he's in Colorado, and I talked to him, I said, you are healed. He was like, by His stripes. And I said, you are healed by His stripes. I said, you are healed. I am healed. I said, now you believe it. Once he believed it, I got him to know he believed it. He saw himself healed. Perspective. Perspective is very important. He saw himself healed. He didn't see himself hurt getting healed. He saw himself healed. There's a difference. Some people say, I see myself as sick, receiving my healing. No, see yourself healed, resisting the temptation to feel sick. It's all perspective of how you see yourself. How you see yourself at those rock cliffs. And I prayed, but I had been through this storm before physically. Remember, y'all know the story about LaDonna when she got the call that they found in her, the same thing that her mother had passed away with, the #1 killer of women. And that was a battle. You know, it says in Ephesians 6 that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of the world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. See, it was a battle. It wasn't a battle I was fighting against doctors or anything else. I wasn't fighting the battle against the big C word. It was a spiritual battle. I hit my knees and went to battle that way. Because it says, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all there is to do, stand. That was a hard battle. I fought hours upon hours upon hours on my knees. But strong winds make skilled sailors. So when it came to him physically with that battle, I fought maybe 3 minutes on my knees. I got hold of him. I said, you're healed. He said, I am healed. And here's the part of the story no one's heard. You know what I did after I talked to him on the phone? My son is possibly going to die. They have him on a plane, flying him to a trauma specialist in Denver, Colorado. And you know what I went and did? I went and got an inner tube and floated the springs in San Marcos. This is awesome. Why? He was healed. Perspective. Wait upon the Lord. Don't defeat yourself. No, I saw he was healed. I saw him healed. It was okay. I went. My son is being flown to Denver, Colorado in a plane, and I'm floating the springs, enjoying life. But that's me. And look, he's still here. Amen. I don't know. I just teach what I do and live. It's all perspective. It's all how you see yourself. And sometimes, yes, you can panic and say things and react wrong. But I made it right, didn't I? I did. I said, it's not too late. I took a deep breath. I even apologized, and we made it through it without sinking. Because strong winds make skilled sailors. Aye? Aye.
Ahoy there, ship! Somebody give me a hand. It's terrible out here. Help! Help! Oh, wait, Captain Rex, it's your ship.
Man overboard! Man overboard! Help him! Help him!
There we go. Throw me a line, mate. It's about time. Sherry Tibbers is out there a while.
What are you doing out here in the water?
Oh, well, I was out sailing along in my ship. We came upon this terrible storm, and I was shipwrecked.
You were shipwrecked?
Aye, terrible squall.
Well, didn't you make some preparations?
Oh, yes, sir. I did. I made preparations. I wrote my will, and I got my life preserver, and then I jumped overboard.
So you prepared to fail?
Well, I was preparing to jump into the water.
So you lost your whole ship. You were making preparations to fail. You wrote your will. You were prepared to fail. Man, why did you do that?
Well, they tell me that these storms are so strong, they're like a white squall, and nobody can sail through that.
Okay, we just sailed through that storm. See, you believed the report of man's report, and you didn't believe the truth, God's report.
Well, what's God's report?
That the righteous shall flourish like the palm, that you might bend, but you're not going to break.
Oh,
and having done all there is to do, stand.
Oh, stand, not jump over.
See, you defeated yourself before you even got to the storm.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess I've seen defeat, but it's about time for you to see defeat.
Oh, yeah? What you mean for harm, God's going to turn around for good.
How about now?
No, you might want to turn around.
Turn around. I'll get you, mate. You know, oh. Terribly sorry, Captain.
Yeah.
Christian sailors forgive, don't they? Yeah.
Yes, we do forgive, and I'm going to turn this around for good. You know that scripture that we get that? It comes from Joseph. You see, his brothers had beat him. They had tried to kill him. They put him in a pit. They sold him into slavery. Joseph went through horrible things. And then his brothers come before him, and Joseph was number 2 in command of all of Egypt. And you know what? He could have said, I'm going to get revenge. I'm going to take it out. But he said, no. He told him, God has turned this around for good. In fact, it says, the exact words that it says is in Genesis 50:20. It says, you intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many people. You see, the enemy has intended harm for a lot of you. You've been going through some really big and bad storms, but God means it for good because he's going to use those storms to save the people that's in your life. So take it and use it. Don't defeat yourself before you're done. We've all got a destination to head to. We've all got a destiny. And maybe it's just one. Maybe it's just one person that you're supposed to touch. But you could change this world one life at a time. That's our vision. So find that one. Use those storms. Don't defeat yourself. Find that one and change their life. Aye?
Aye.
Aye. You know, it's all perspective. It reminds me of the story of that you remind me of a lot like they were is we both worked we act at the Renaissance Festival in McDade You guys good? You good? Okay, in McDade and remember that day that I don't remember exactly. Why don't you tell them what happened?
It was the second weekend in April it was, and we were out there, and I had done the parade. They do a big procession, and I'd done the parade with the pirates and come down and done the last bit where we wave our flags and tell the kids about the shows, and I had stepped over a log, and I stepped over a log, and I felt this weird pop in this left foot. And it's me a good foot because this one's had several amputations on it. And so I felt that, and it kind of burned, and it got worse and got worse. By the time I got behind the stage, it was so bad I couldn't quite walk, so I needed help to get there. The captain said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "No. I felt a pop in my foot, and it feels like there's fluid in my shoe." He said, "Well, you need to see a doctor."
I said, "Well, you need to go see a doctor." And he almost started tearing up. I'm like, "Why are you tearing up? Go see a doctor." And you told me.
I said, "Well, I can go to the emergency room, but a regular doctor's out because the government revoked my Medicaid 3 days ago. So the finances are going to be astronomical. But I have friends that do this full contact fighting at the same fair, and they have several people that are professionally EMTs that are on their staff, and they've got like a whole ambulance worth of stuff over there, so I'm going to go see them first."
I said, "That's okay, that's wise. These guys know what they're doing. I'm going to take you over there." So we take them over there to these EMTs and these combat people. I mean, they're medics. They know what they're doing, and it wasn't good. In fact.
No, my friend Raul, he's the lead out there for their medical team, and he sat me down, looked at my foot, and immediately he said, "I need aeration, I need 5 lancets of 5 inches, and he started talking about all this equipment. People were putting on masks, they were shooing people out from behind stage, they were putting on gloves. It looked like a surgical team at a emergency medic. And he starts lancing my foot with these 5-inch needles and starts draining all this infection out of that foot. It was terrible. It was, you're not going to want to eat pizza again if you saw it. And he was lancing it and lancing it.
It looked like cottage cheese coming out of his foot. Seriously, it was bad.
Terrible. But then he starts looking at me, and I'd had some problems with my other foot earlier, so they bandaged that up. And they said, well, you can't walk, so we're going to have to find some way to carry you out of here to get you to the ER. We can't walk on that foot. You've got necroptic tissue in those two toes. Several of your metatarsals are showing fusing, and down where the bleed is, which is halfway down your foot, looks necrotic. That's probably, you're looking at either a major portions Swiss cheese amputation of your foot, or they're going to take the foot. And at that point, I was pretty well broken.
I had, at that point, wasn't there to hear those news. I had went to go get a golf cart to be able to take him to the emergency room. There was no choice. I was like, you're going to the emergency room. If I have to pay it, it don't matter. First off, remember I said, don't worry about money. You worry, that chokes out your harvest. Those of you here last year, we live what we teach. That's what we taught. Worry chokes out your harvest. Don't worry about it. If I got to pay it, I'll pay it. So they had gotten the golf cart and took him to his car to take him to the emergency room. And I met with him up backstage right before he got off, and I show up. And Gaptooth here has been touring with us for a year. He believes it. He knows it. He lives by faith. He's strong. I've seen him go through some pretty bad storms. But I looked over there, and this 6-foot-plus big guy was broken. It wasn't just financial storm that was hitting him. It wasn't just a physical storm. It was an emotional too. Here, yeah, he's going to lose all his money. Not that, also that, he's also going to lose body parts. What was also going through your mind?
Well, at the time, finances are devastating enough. Facing more amputations and 6 to 8 weeks recovery if they don't take the whole foot. Year to year and a half if they take the whole foot, plus the extra expensive prosthetics. And then I was shattered to, I felt like I was letting you down by not being there for that summer. And then the worst of it all was being a big man. You're used to shouldering everyone's weight. And I couldn't carry my own.
And I saw this. I said, enough's enough. I didn't care who was around. I prayed in the Spirit, and I knelt down, and I prayed for his foot. I then reached up, remember, and I prayed for your heart. And I said, Gary, you are healed. He said, by his stripes I am healed. I said, no, Gary, you are healed. He said, God is healing me. I said, Gary, you are healed. He said, I am healed. I had to change his perspective. I said, now go to the doctor. Don't worry about finances. I'll pay it if I had to. You go to the doctor and let them tell you you're healed. So when I use wisdom, I said, you keep me updated on everything. 20 minutes later, because it's about 20 minutes to get to the emergency room, I get a text. What did that first text say?
Good news, Captain. My Medicaid is still in effect.
Wait, this is government stuff, right? And they revoked it 3 days before. There's no way. They said you can have it, and it was still active. My next text that I got was,
well, the blood test has come back. We're still waiting on the x-rays, but the blood test has come back, and there's no sign of infection. Not even any residual infection, no infection at all in my blood.
You didn't understand. Cottage cheese was coming out of his foot. It was full of infection. In fact, he told the medic who lanced it, he didn't believe it. He said, send me the x-rays. He goes, I know what I saw. He said, no, it's gone. And then you get the x-rays.
And you get the x-rays back. They say there's some mild necrosis in 2 of your toes. Those metatarsals are fine. There's no fusion.
But tell them the good thing that they saw.
They x-rayed the other foot because it had a bandage on it too, since it was the one that had amputations. And I've suffered with Charcot's syndrome, where it eats up your bones and leaves pieces of bone material floating around. And I have a x-ray that shows the last time it was x-rayed, of the holes and the little bones in there. Well, then they handed me the x-rays. The Charcos was gone. The holes are filled in. The bone chips are gone. No Charcos in my foot.
My God, the righteous shall flourish like the palm. The storms are going to come. You may bend, but you are not going to break. And then God gets the glory. Because this medic was not a believer. And he said, send me the x-rays. He sent him the x-rays. He said, I don't understand. How? And what did you tell him?
I said, that's how my God works.
My God! Those storms, they come and they hit you and it hurts. But you don't battle against flesh and blood. You got to do some spiritual warfare. Lay hands on this sick and they will recover. My God. I want to, and these stories that we tell you, this is not a show, this isn't a script. This is a brand new adventure that we wrote. Yes, there's little parts that we kind of try to show with the storm up, but all of it's true. There isn't no script. We're talking from our hearts here today. This is brand new, and so it may not be as polished of a show that you've seen before. But I wanted you to see our hearts because it's not a show that we do. We are not Captain Rex International Show. We are Captain Rex International Ministries. And our job is to change the world one life at a time. So if you are going through a storm, and it may be financial, it may be physical, it may be emotional, it may be in your family. If you are going through that storm, and you need someone just to, like I did with Gary, say, it's going to be okay. Someone to lay hands and pray with you. We want to be that one. Jesse Duplantis, he told me about 2 months ago, he said, when you are at your weakest, you are actually at your strongest. And he has a t-shirt that says, I'll be your two. We want to be your two. If 2 or 3 agree, touching anything on earth, you ask of the Father. He'll give it to you.
Battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how I win. This is how I win my battle. That's it. Sing it out. This is how I win my battle.
Romans 8:37. No, despite all these things, overwhelming victory is ours through Christ who loved us. Romans 8:28. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. You believe it? Wherefore then, take unto you the whole armor of God. It starts there. That's why it's so important to come to church. So you learn about that helmet of salvation. You learn about that breastplate of righteousness. Your feet shod with the peace, and that's why he's the pastor, I'm not. And the belt of truth, and the shield of faith, and the sword of the Spirit. But then after all of that, he says take on the whole armor. We're in a battle. There's so many people, they prepare for the battle by putting on a toga. Just going to sit back and let's philosophize about it and take my grapes with my laurel wreath. And man, it's a battle with armor. And then after you've done all that there is, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day. And having done all, to stand.
Dr. Savelle always says, if you don't give up, the way will show up. Change your perspective. Change your perspective. I look at those storms coming and I get happy. Oh, you know what? In fact, I left that scripture out. It says in James 1:2-4, it says, consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds. Wait, what? I'm supposed to be happy? He said, yeah, be very happy about it. This is awesome. My son is about to die, and I'm like, this is great. I'm happy. Why? Because he says, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. Strong winds make skilled sailors. You may bend, but you're not going to break. Say, I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I am blessed. I am healed. And though the storm may come, I might bend, but I'm not going to break. Because the righteous shall flourish like a palm, and I am righteous. Amen. If you're righteous, give God a good hand clap.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father.
You know, Pastor Justin, you may be seated. We thank you so much for having us here, and you're a big part of what we do. Whenever we go to Brazil, you guys are there with us. It was through a service like this a couple years ago that we were given the opportunity to be able to get the boat, and the boat is fixed. It's fantastic. It's amazing. And the reason why we do go to Brazil, it's called Treasures of the Amazon River. And you know, but some of you may not, is we stop the human trafficking of children on the Amazon River.
Yeah.
And the way we do that is we establish economies. And we are 100% successful. We are the only sex trafficking organization to be able to say that we are 100% successful. We are 100%. I wasn't worried, but I was curious of whether we'd keep those statistics after this last November. We went into a village, Pastor Justin, I told you a little bit backstage in November, and there was only 3 teenagers total. Even the boys had been sold. Of those 3 teenagers, 2 of the girls were being prostituted out daily by their parents, by their dads. 1 clean teenager in the whole village. I was like, we got to do something. Through a mighty God's hand touched in, it was just like the book of Timothy. I mean, it was amazing. I got an audience with the chief. And the chief had 2 of these sitting in his hut. He made them, I guess, for some of the little kids in the village. And the Holy Spirit told me, blow dart guns. I'm like, what am I going to do with a blow dart gun? So I told the chief, can you make a bunch of these? He said, oh yes, I can make a whole bunch. How many? Well, I could do 200. I said, okay, I'll buy all that you make. I'll be back in May. I'll buy all that you make. He goes, oh yeah. And then it's like, wait. How about the rest of the men of the village? Can they make these? They say, no, they can't make them. They're no good. I said, I'll tell you what, I will buy 100 from you, but I will only buy 100 from you if I could buy 100 from the rest of the village. Oh no. I said, no, you have to teach them. You have to train them. And theirs needs to be just as good as yours. You see? See what I did there? Now he's teaching the whole village a trade. Putting money in the whole village. Now, I didn't even know if you remember this conversation, if they're going to make them, what's going to happen. So we get there in May, and we were excited to get to the village to see, did he have these blow dart guns? We get there, and the chief wasn't there. His wife was there. She remembered us because we had prayed for her back.
She was healed.
And she was healed, that's right. And she said, oh, I'm so sorry.
I said, why are you sorry? We don't have your blow dart guns. I'm like, man, 6 months. And I see a pile of about 50, 60 of these laying, but they're not done. I mean, none of this is done, none of this. It's just a pile. I was like, what about those? She goes, oh, they're not done. But we could finish them for you. I was like, well, I'll buy these right here. I said, where is your husband? She was like, well, he's at the market right now. He took some more of the blow dart guns we had made for you to the market to sell. I'm like, yes. Yeah. Wait, this is not the first time. She goes, no. A few months ago, we didn't have any money for food. And this is what she said. And we thought we was going to have to sell our daughter. The last daughter, clean teenager in that village. But we looked over there in the corner and we had 200 blow dart guns.
Yeah.
Pastor Justin, if she hadn't made those blow dart guns for us, they would have had to sell their daughter.
Yeah.
And they took those 200 blow dart guns to the market and they sold them.
Yeah.
And their daughter is still there.
Yeah.
And they ended up making the rest of those 50 or 60, however many it was, and we got them. We have a few back there in the back. And, you know, we've sunk, I don't know, probably $125,000 into the Brazilian economy. And we've saved many lives, many girls' lives. Every village I go to, I could tell you a story like that. But even if it was just that one girl, it was worth it. All $125,000. And so I want to give you this, and it's not just some souvenir, it's...
Thank you. Amen. Thank you. We were such an opportunity that we've been able to be a part of your ministry, and you don't just do that in the Amazon, but he also calls it the Pearls of India. They do the same thing in India.